Brother Teacher here again. I'm sure that most of you have heard of the term consciousness, or black consciousness, or the conscious community, as it relates to those people who are enlightened as to what's going on in the world. Not to say that most people are not aware of what's going on in the world in general, but in this particular I can't say ideology, but this particular way of thinking, as it relates to consciousness, it has everything to do with the things that happen behind the scenes, where most average Americans or even people in the world are not aware of. And this term conscious community came into existence as a result of that. For example, there were lies that have been told about the so-called country that we live in, called America, or the United States of America, that were never told to Americans. It has been hidden for hundreds of years from the general public, and especially with the so-called African American community, our history has been hidden from us, and for obvious reasons. I won't necessarily go into the obvious reasons, because that's something that you can do in your own time, do the research, if you don't already know that. And that's everyone that's watching this video, irrespective of your color, race, or creed. Howbeit, it would be a shame, as long as this country has been in existence, for the general population not to know how it came to be in the first place. So getting to the original premise of this video about consciousness, or the conscious community, and black conscious community more respectfully, there's a problem that I have with the conscious community as it relates to blacks that call themselves conscious, and that is the fact that so many of them are against one another. It is this somehow vie for power, and who's the better orator, who's the historian, who knows more than the next person. And then they have oftentimes battles, and they have these settings in these arenas where they challenge one another's knowledge. That's not consciousness, ladies and gentlemen. That's foolery. That is something totally different. Anytime that you have to place yourself on such a world stage to try to oust another individual, all in the so-called defense of us, then something's wrong with that picture. It's not somehow for us anymore. It's for you. It is what you're doing for yourself. There's an agenda that's at play, and it should not be. And those of us in the conscious community now, I am an individual. I can consider myself conscious, because I know the world in which I live in, because I study the world in which I live in, and I continue to study, and I will forever be a student of life. And if anyone thinks any different about themselves as it relates to studying, then something's wrong with you, because as long as you live, you'll never know everything there is to know about the world in which you're in. But you can know the basics. You can know the fundamentals of the world in which you live, especially the government and how it functions, and how those functions relate to you, the person, the people. So with that said, getting back to the point of the black conscious community, and there's a white conscious community, there's other people who are conscious as well, but I'm talking about black consciousness. I have found, and it is very disturbing to me, that a lot of these individuals that say they're conscious, they talk about, the white man. They talk about the atrocities that have happened with our people. They are aware of some historical facts. They're aware of some things that even happen in current days, or presently, as it relates to black people in America and in the world. However, there's a gimmick. There's something behind it. If you're conscious, and I'm speaking to the black folks right now who call yourselves black conscious people or individuals, or Black Lives Matter, whoever you might be, if you are indeed a conscious individual, then we should see, and you should see, some results. You should be benefiting someone else other than yourself. That's not to say that if you have a particular talent or skill set or what have you, that you should not be, reimbursed for it or reimbursed for it, whatever you're putting out. But for the cost of freedom, there's no dollar amount you can put on it. Freedom is freedom. It's just simply that. And if you are going to give someone some information that can help them be liberated from the atrocities that have happened and from the oppression of the white power that be, or from the white supremacist mentality or mindset, if you're going to help liberate those individuals, then stop asking for so much in return. Yes, you're right. On some level, people should go in their pocket and say, I'm gonna give you a few dollars just for your efforts, sir, or give you something because you are benefiting all of us as a whole, and you're educating or helping to educate us as to where we came from, where we are, and where we should be going. That's what conscious people are supposed to do. They're supposed to help other people become conscious, because once we become conscious, we're supposed to be about a movement. Not a movement nationwide or worldwide, a movement in terms of making those things manifest. Those things should materialize. In other words, what I'm saying is this: people should see and hear you as well. People should see you doing something to make a difference, as opposed to just talking about where we are and what our circumstances are, and where we should be going from this point. We should see some feet on the ground and people going forward and saying, this is the resolution, this is the answer, this is what the result can be, and we're heading towards that direction. It should not be, a whole lot of just spitting air or throwing words into the wind with no results. We need to have some concrete results at some point in time, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not just about you. And I'm tired, and I've said this before and earlier in this video about these guys, so-and-so's challenging so-and-so, and then you see this big group of people in the streets in LA or in New York or in Chicago, and one guy's spitting out his knowledge, so to speak, and then another guy who's supposed to be his opponent, he's saying how much knowledge he has, and then you have the crowd around who is no more intelligent than those two individuals, who's hooping and hollering about who gave the best message and who knows the most about where black people came from and their history and so forth, and how they're going to deal with the white man and all this kind of crazy stuff. Consciousness, again, is knowing where you are for real in the world, and not just knowing, but doing something about it. Now, all of you conscious people out there, while you are continually beating down the white man or the white supremacist, which you should to some degree, but while you're doing that, you should also be finding a resolution and stop competing against one another, because you're no longer conscious. You're something else. This is Brother Teacher. Let me know what your opinions are. Let me know what your viewpoints are in the comment section below. And if you're really conscious, again, do something for the people and not just for yourself. So long.